Welcome back for some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, guys. Brought to you in part by the Dragon Maid Discord. um, yeah, I think since a lot of growth has been going on within the community regarding this deck, now that Master Duel is released, we've gotten tons of new visitors, and I want to extend that I guess gratitude to any other Dragon Maid players that want to learn how to play the deck. There's a dedicated guide that'll instruct you on everything you need to know regarding the deck, from advanced level rulings to tech, and all the important aspects of playing the deck. There's a very vocal community that's wholesome. We like to talk to each other and have a good time. No toxicity anywhere. So if you guys are interested in that for both the TCG and Master Duel, please make your way over. And yeah, without further ado, let's get back into the regular video. Thanks. All right, now that we're back, there are a couple replays I actually got to, get for everyone that I wanted to show off. But before that, I wanted to celebrate my accomplishment. I got a really strong win streak going on in platinum rank 1, 19. So that was pretty cool. Just playing my normal list, nothing unique, nothing added on to it. But anyways, let's get right into the video. There are 4 games I kind of want to show you, and there's one game I will show you, but not in the way you're thinking. You'll see it later. So look forward to that. But anyways, so today I mostly played Tri-Brigade on the ladder. So expect to see a lot of I guess repetitive gameplay, but that's kind of what happens as the meta is starting to develop, and we see Tri-Brigade seems to be the front runner, the Zodiac variant specifically. But anyways, so my opponent is actually going to Maxi me on normal summon of Chamber, which is a very interesting decision. I'm not really sure why they felt the need to do that, but I'm just gonna search downtime, set tidying, and Ash Alistair, because that's what good players do. I'm not really sure why he felt the need to Maxi me when they should know that this card searches interaction. But perhaps maybe he didn't know that, Master Duel, there's a lot of new players, so perhaps. But anyways, I'm going to chain my tidying and my downtime to get some advantage going. So I'm going to bounce back the set, and I'm going to search Earnest. And the reason I search Earnest is because with downtime, you can just pitch the Earnest to summon the Chamber. So it can get you a lot further ahead when you're playing under very constrained circumstances. So that's how I don't lose to Maxi. I have yet to lose to that card, funnily enough. So my streak was actually ended at 19 by a mirror match, which is kind of ironic, but it's funny in its own way. But yeah, so we're gonna go for game, right? I'm gonna make House Dragon Maid. We're gonna use Hospi, revive Kitchen, and use Kitchen's effect to send. I'm actually not gonna use Hospi. I'm gonna use Tidying. I'm sorry. And I'm just gonna, do the good old House OTK, right? And we're gonna play around Gamma, because why not? And clean that up. So this game was exceptionally short, but that's kind of how you play the game, right? I don't believe in while Max C existing, I don't believe in playing very combo heavy variants. So I try and I pruned it down a little bit. And as we'll see in the next game, this game I believe is against Tri-Brigade, and this matchup is it's very complex, and there's specifically one reason for that. I think this is Tri-Brigade. I should wait, because I know there's 2 Tri-Brigade matches. I just can't remember if they're the first 2. The goal here is to draw Lorpar. That's why I started with Pot of Prosperity. Or, I lied. I revealed Maxi. Okay. Well, my thought process was I should have grabbed Lorpar and I could have made show, but revealing Maxi is kind of also winning the game. So, I guess it makes sense that I chose to do that. I might be getting my replays mixed up, so I apologize for that caster's mistake. But this is against Tri-Zoo, yeah. And this matchup is kind of like, it's kind of frustrating just because the Tri-Brigades can play under Maxi fairly well because they only really need to, you know, summon a few times, and Tri-Brigade Revolt gives them back pretty much all their advantage. But this player seems to have just embraced the reality that the Maxi challenge is, you know, something he can do. So, fair enough. He's going to make access code talker, and I'm going to pause the video right now because there's actually something very important that messed me up here. Because you're probably wondering, why would I not activate the tidying right here when my opponent is staring at me with an access code? And there's a very simple reason for it. It's that I wanted to, but I did not set the, if you look in this small corner, there would normally be a chain feature. It is called auto chain on off. You normally are supposed to set that to on so that it gives you the ability to act using your fast effects during an open game state. If you set it to auto, you won't get the ability to do so. This matters for access code because now access code is going to get the chance to pop my cards before I get to actually interact with him. And that's not good. However, I'm so far ahead in advantage that it's not going to matter. So the best I can say is, like, it didn't bother me too much here, but is absolutely something that could lose you the game if you don't play with your chain set to on and not auto. And unfortunately, there's no setting that lets you keep it on permanently. So you have to, at the start of every single game, you have to manually set it to on, and it's just, why? I have no idea why it's like that. It just is. But anyways, we've pretty much won the game by this point. We have way too many cards to lose. He uses his judgment on the worst possible card, and we're just going to house OTK. We're going to pop, make show, and call it. Well, we would, but our opponent's actually going to quit the game right now in response to my droplet that I'm going to use. But yeah, that's very important for you to remember when playing this deck. Yeah. Because I was going to droplet, send, tidying, revive, and that would have just been it. But it's a very winnable matchup. It's just little things like that you have to remember. So that was a huge misplay on my part for not having that option ticked. I actually lost another game against the very same deck for the same exact reason, because when you start a duel, like, you kind of forget a little bit to click. So that's my advice to anyone who's looking to play Dragonmaid, is at the start of the game, you know, you need to play with your chain links set to on so that you can respond at all times. But anyways, so in this matchup, well, this is the same matchup, but against this opponent, we didn't open Maxi, so it sucks, right? And this is kind of like what I was talking about. Our hand's still fantastic though, but the way Dragonmaid works, right, is it's a very powerful deck, but it's incredibly slow, like ridiculously slow. But that's fine in a format like this, because Maxi gets you so much advantage that you can get ahead if your opponent takes the challenge, and we fill up on tech. But against Tri-Brigade, their engine, it's faster than ours, and Tri-Brigade Revolt makes it very difficult to respond to their interaction once they've already committed to the play. So that's one of the reasons why I don't play Infinite Impermanence. I play Forbidden Droplet, because Forbidden Droplet allows me to respond to Omen, Shurag, however you identify that monster, which would normally be a free banish. It allows me to negate him, and that's going to come in handy in this duel. You'll see, because I'm going to play this turn out very weirdly, but it'll make a bit more sense in the end. So Tri-Brigade Revolt allowed him to summon the Omen, right? His goal here is going to be to banish Lorpar. I can't let him do that. If I lose Lorpar, I kind of lose, like, my ability to put another body on board which would mean that I'd be passing my turn on Striker Dragon. So I'm going to chain Droplet here to stop the Omen. That is the win condition for this. I thought this card right here in the back of my mind that this would have been a live card, but it ends up being a bluff, just so that my opponent's Revolt didn't get sniped by like a Cosmic Cyclone, which makes sense. So we're going to beat over Rugal just so that he can't get the end phase 2 effect of Rugal, and I'm going to make Seal. But I'm not going to end my turn. I'm going to use the Nib and tribute the Seal and the Omen, which is a weird play, right? But the reason I did that is because I need to summon Dragon Maid Show. I could have done this normally, but I wanted to get the Omen off of the field just because I needed to put my opponent in a position where they couldn't win. And a negate, I felt, would have done that better than Seal. Because if my opponent has access to Cuirass, using Seal to bounce back the normal summon before they use the effect doesn't work. It would have also lost me the game because my opponent had Called by the Grave, which apparently he top decked. So this play ended up being the correct play. By making the Seal, setting up myself so that I can go into show, I now get to do this because, you know, he Fractals, send Nerval, and Nerval search another Fractal, and he normal summons Fractal. This was the play I was mostly like, I wasn't really anticipating the Called by the Grave, but it was just by chance that we played around that, and it worked out really well. My problem here was if this card, or if he drew into Cuirass, bouncing this would lose me the game because he would summon Fractal, I would tribute Seal, bounce Fractal, he pitches Fractal, specials Cuirass, home free. I can't let that happen. I need to negate the Fractal so that even if he has Cuirass in his hand, he can't use it. And that it played out masterfully for me just because I played around the Called by the Grave and the potential Cuirass. So we go into House Dragon Maid. He's out of options and he seals his fate by entering the battle phase. We're going to pop his Nib token and we have exactly lethal on board. Well, not exactly, but we have more than enough for lethal, and he scoops. So that's something to be a bit mindful of. Called by the Grave is at 2 in this format, so making Hieratic Seal isn't always the best play. Your opponent can sometimes just win if they have that card. It's incredibly sacky in some ways, but it was good that it's good that we have options. You know, if you normal summon Chamber, sometimes it might just be better to set the tiding, and you know, you may be down a piece of interaction, but you play around what your opponent has. So in this game, as you can see, our hand is ridiculous, and not in a good way, because you know, 1 Maxi is great, 2 Maxi is like, okay, that's not too bad, but you really don't want to see 3, because that's you're not really going to resolve it that many times. So we're going to set ourselves up to win. Our opponent is going to Maxi us right here. And this is kind of like one of those situations where it's like, okay, this right here is the reason why I like Kitchen Dragon Maid over Black Metal Dragon for this game. And it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. If I normal summoned Black Metal Dragon right here instead of Kitchen Dragon Maid, my opponent could max C my normal summon, and I have to end my turn. There is no other options, because Black Metal Dragon will give my opponent 3 extra cards, right? Because summoning Striker Dragon would replace the max C. Then I would search Red MD. Summoning Red MD would give him a +1. Red MD effect to summon Black Metal Dragon would give him a +2. And then making Hieratic Seal would give him a +3. That's unacceptable. That's far too many cards. So that's why, as much as I think Black Metal Dragon is superior to Kitchen Dragon Maid in the TCG, I would absolutely play that over Kitchen. In this format specifically, I would not. I would play Kitchen over this card, because Kitchen plays out the same way here, right? Where if you normal summon Kitchen, your opponent can't max C you. And the reason why they can't max C you is because, you know, you may not actually go into your extra deck with Dragon Maid. If you Kitchen, you normal summon Kitchen, they chain max C. Okay, cool. Send Lorpar, set pass on interruption. They get no value on it. They go -1. But if you kitchen, so that means it lets you get a free special summon. It gets you ahead. So you can make a Striker Dragon, activate Hospitality, and then they max you. You can get to seal, and they only get 1 extra card because they'll get the draw from you summoning back the maid if you summon out kitchen again, or if you summon out like a chamber. They'll get 1 draw, which they'll still be at 5 cards. Then you make sealed, and they get a +1. So it plays around that card so much better to not use Black Metal Dragon. I'm sorry if I slowed down the pacing of the video, but it's very important to know that for this format because Maxi is so prolific. It has probably got I want to say at least 95% like play rate in this format. So I only have 2 hard interruptions and Maxi being potential interruption, and my opponent grabs the Twin Twisters. So he's afraid to losing Dragon Maid Tidying. I think Twin Twisters was the correct hit here, just because if he grabbed Psyframe Gear, well, Gamma wasn't the good pick here. If he grabbed Ash Blossom to Ash the Seal, I would have known about it, and I would have chained Tidying, chained Seal to bounce 2, so that Tidying was in the graveyard, so I had follow up. So getting Twin Twisters remove that, but then I still kind of get follow up from Seal anyway. So it makes sense that he would want to remove the Tidying instead of letting me get 2 pieces of interaction by only letting me get 1, if that makes sense. So he makes Omen, and Omen's gonna banish Chamber. That's fine. He's given me more than enough resources to really push for game. But my fear is, that this card is Tri-Brigade Revolt. And it is. It is Tri-Brigade Revolt. So my goal is to play around it as best I can. And the only way I can think of doing that is to make show before he activates it. But he reads that. And he chains it. So that when Omen's on board, he can chain block it with all the graveyard effects, which is perfect. But I'm going to get him with the Max C. And this Max C is actually going to pay off really nicely. Because this is going to get me 2 more cards on his turn. It's important to know that Max C only counts 1 special summon, whereas Nibiru counts individual summons. So you could nib under Revolt for 4, but you can't, you will only get 1 draw for the, 2 draws for the summon of all 4 monsters, and then the actual summon of Omen. You won't get 7 draws, if my math is correct. So that's something to keep track of. But right here, he's going to attempt to banish my show. At this point, I see no reason not to just negate the kit, because show is gone anyway, and house is gone too. But that's fine. I don't really mind that all that much because I still have my normal summon. So I've played through most of my opponent's interaction here. I'm going to revive the Chamber, and we're going to get the Chamber to grab Hospi. We can't go into show again because we used our graveyard effect already. So we're just going to beat over the Kuraz, and we're going to make Seal and end on Effect Failure and Downtime. Effect Failure is so good against Tri-Brigade. It is incredibly strong against them because they have to commit their resources to the banish pile in order for them to get ahead. So by having Veiler, you can stun their ability to put bodies on board, which is what we want. So my opponent here still has 2 in his graveyard, and he has Kuraz. And I'm like, well, my goal of banishing, bouncing back an Omen is gone now, because now I have to force my Seal. But I do get Maxi, which is nice. The 3rd Maxi actually does come up in this game. But I can't bounce back any of these Omens. I have to bounce back the Kuraz, and as a result, Downtime is going to get banished before it can even resolve. It's unfortunate, but I don't really need it to win this game. Downtime's not too crazy in this matchup anyway. I would have liked to have resolved it just so I could get more. So we're going to wall up and force the 2 Omens to attack into bodies, which is fine. At this point, I believe my opponent doesn't have any more Omens in the graveyard. There's no more interaction. But I'm not out of the woods just yet. So we're going to dump Nurse, and we're going to normal summon Parlor, and we're going to make House Dragon Maid. We're not going to make Dragon Maid Show, and the reason why is because if I make Dragon Maid Show, I can't clean up the whole board. And that's what I need to do. Because Effect Veiler will trade with the Cuirass in his hand. So I don't need to worry about that, provided he doesn't draw exactly Called by the Grave. But I do need to worry about getting these omens off the board, because that's just banishing more of my resources. And this is my last copy of House Dragon Maid in my extra deck. So I need to be very careful about how I use this. But it works out, because we end up popping both omens and we swing in for good damage. And I think he dumped Revolt, the third Revolt, which leads me to believe he was, yeah. He's out of omens. That's the only reason he would dump that. So now my opponent just has Cuirass for 3. But I don't want to really take any chances with this, because Cuirass for 3 gets him the access code talker. Just because he Cuirass banishes 3, summons Doom Eagle. Doom Eagle, Rugal. Rugal and Doom Eagle makes 1, 2, 3. So I have no reason to stop this. If he summoned Doom Eagle, it probably would have been, well, no, I guess Doom Eagle wouldn't really matter that much, just because I have both big dragons out of the graveyard, and that's kind of the fear with this. If he shuffles back a big dragon, it complicates things. So I get to hold Veiler for the Fractal that I know he searched, which is, you know, perfect, because that's the part of the engine that matters the most. And he access code and he pops his house, and he access code and he pops kitchen, and he swings in the battle phase, and that's the game, right? Because I'm just going to bring back House. House is going to pop access code talker. Get that out of there. And at the end of the battle phase, Nurse tags back in and I pop Fractal and we're done. So yeah, that's kind of like my thought process when I was playing the games. Sorry, I've been playing a lot, so like my commentary is a little bit scatterbrained just because there's so many decks. I mean, so many games I've played that certain plays, you know, they start to blend together. Like, I think I showed you 3 Tri-Brigade matches today, and it's I hope you understand that it comes from a place of just fatigue, not from just inexperience. But yeah, this is the same list as last time. I haven't made a single change. I do think maybe it's probably a good idea to play Boral Sword Dragon over a second copy of Dragon Maid Show or the third copy of House Dragon Maid. Honestly, I really think you only need 1 and 2. Those are like the best ratios. But like 1 and 3 is also fine. 2 and 2 is fine too if your fear is losing access to Show. I don't really mind that because I'm pretty good about not losing her. And even then, if I do, I usually like can win the game anyway through like, you know, extra deck shenanigans. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Remember what I said, like if you're interested in like, you know, getting into Dragon Maid as a strategy, I implore you to join the Dragon Maid Discord. There will be a link to it in the description for this video, and the first comment pinned will have a link to it. So join, we'd love to have you, and that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you so much for your continued support. I've gone up quite a number of subscribers in a long time since I went on hiatus after finishing my last game. So I'm still deciding on what the next game I want to play. If I decide to continue some of the playthroughs for those who are interested in that aspect, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, you all have a good one. Thank you very much. It's Sorabel signing out. Take care.